Hello guys, welcome back to another video. In this prediction we have Vice President Kamala Harris up against former President Donald Trump. So Harris is definitely underperforming Biden by like 3 points in the polling. I mean, she would probably still win the popular vote against Trump, maybe by a point or so, while Biden would probably win it by about 4 or 5 against him. So she's definitely underperforming Biden by 3 to 4 points. And that'll definitely hurt her across the swing states. So it would also make a lot of like likely R states just shift to safe Republican, and we're going to be going over those as we go throughout this video. But let me just finish in those safe Republican states. Okay, we're good to go. All right, one of those states is Alaska. It would just shift to safe red. It would not trend Democratic like it usually is going. It was usually working towards that margin every presidential year. Harris just has terrible rural appeal, so she really wouldn't do well in Alaska. Plus, she isn't seen as a moderate either, while Biden is. So that'll definitely hurt her there. In Iowa and Ohio, she doesn't really have a lot of populist appeal either. Plus, she's trailing Biden by 3 to 4 points usually. And her weakest states are in the Rust Belt, I would say. In Texas and Florida, I'm going to put them as likely are. I don't think they would be safe Republican, especially Texas because of trends, but still Harris would definitely underperform Biden here. And in Florida, she would underperform him, but she wouldn't lose Florida by a safe Republican margin. Trump would probably win the state by 8 points against her. Colorado, she'd still win by safe blue margin. She wouldn't be that terrible of a candidate to lose it by likely blue. But Maine would go to likely blue instead of safe blue as it usually has been, while Maine's second would go to Trump by a likely Republican margin. New Hampshire would probably still go to Harris by about 2 points, 3 points against Trump. Again, Trump isn't liked in New Hampshire. He usually has pretty low favorables in this state, so Harris could coast to victory on that. Plus, again, it's socially liberal now. It's not a swing state as much as it used to be. Okay, in Virginia, she would definitely underperform Biden considerably here, losing it by actually winning the state of Virginia by 3 points or so, I would say, against Trump. She wouldn't win it by a likely margin. Nebraska second, she would also win probably about 2 to 3 points again against Trump. He's pretty unpopular in this district. New Mexico would probably go to about lean Democratic as well. She'd only win it by about 4 points against Trump. Again, it's just mainly because she's seen more unfavorable than Biden is by 3 or 4 points. So let's see. I think we'd do North Carolina and Georgia next. North Carolina is going to be lean Republican, while Georgia, it's probably going to be about, I'd say lean Republican as well. Again, we saw Stacey Abrams lose Georgia by a likely Republican margin, but Trump is no Brian Kemp. And again, Harris is probably like the same skill level as Stacey Abrams in terms of like electability. And again, Georgia, it wasn't a landslide in 2020. Biden only won by 11,000 votes or so. Even with the trends here, I still think Trump wins the state by about 1.5% against Harris. It's going to be a very close state, but again, I think in the suburbs we're going to see her not get Biden numbers in them, so that's why she underperforms and loses there. Kind of similar to how Stacey Abrams underperformed in the Georgia suburbs as well, but did decent in the urban areas. In the Rust Belt, we're going to head to these 4 states. I still think she gets Minnesota by about 4 against Trump, but Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, probably 2 points each. Even Michigan, I see going towards Trump. Her populist appeal is just not good. I just don't see her winning the state. It'll be very close because of that trifecta in this state would definitely work on making voting a lot easier here and boosting urban turnout. But again, I kind of see Harris as Hillary in the Rust Belt. I think she would kind of get crushed similar to her. In Nevada, I also think Trump would have a pretty significant advantage. He'd probably win the state by about 2 points against her. And Arizona would be the closer state. She only loses it by tilt Republican margin because of how a lot of moderates really don't like Trump here, but still a narrow Trump win, and it's probably one of the Trump's biggest wins against Harris in a while in one of my videos. It's just because I've seen how unpopular Harris is. She's always trailing Biden by 3 to 4 points in the favorabilities. Again, her populist appeal is very weak, and I think she would really get hurt in the more rural states, even losing Iowa, Ohio, and Alaska by safe Republican margins. But I'll see you guys in the next video.